We all know the tale of the three little pigs. They build their houses of different materials. A big bad wolf blows down the first two pigs' houses made of straw and sticks, but is unable to destroy the third pig's house of bricks. However, is this story still accurate? Modern houses built with straw and reed are still standing, so is it not time to rewrite the story? With cereal plants, only the grain and its casing are used for food production. Straw is a byproduct. In terms of weight, half of the crops of rice, oats, barley, rye and wheat are straw. Straw can be used as building material, but it has other uses also, such as fuel, material for basket making, bedding and feed for animals. Reeds can be found in water and have very similar properties. Straw and reeds can be stored in bales, which are bundles held tightly together with wire or twine. Bales come in many shapes depending on the baler used. The shape of the bale or orientation of the stems is often selected based on the production process or properties. Rectangular bales are used most often for building. History of bale building. Straw and reeds have been used as building materials for over 1,000 years. They can be used for roofing or added to lime straw mix to form building blocks. The history of large-scale bale building began with the invention of the baling machine at the end of 1900 in the United States, in Nebraska, North America. Pioneers used the straw bales as building bricks to build houses, schools and churches. In 1897, straw bales were used to construct a temporary school building in Nebraska. This was likely the first time straw bales were used for construction. These types of buildings became known as Nebraska style. Funnily enough, the building was eaten by cows in 1902. Inspired by this event and in search of a solution, builders began plastering bale structures with cement, lime, stucco or mud. Straw buildings were built as temporary houses, but because of their good protection from the elements, their insulation and their living environment, people began to live in them on a permanent basis. In Europe, the first straw bale building was built in 1921 in France. Here, straw was used as an infill with structural frame in wood. The building is still in use today by the French Straw Building Association. In the Netherlands, the use of reeds for roofing is more commonplace on Dutch farmhouses. The craft of creating these roofs has been passed on from one generation of builders to the next. Reeds provide good insulation and were often available in the area of the farms due to the ditches dug to irrigate the land. Building with straw bales has many advantages that benefit the environment as well as the people living in it. The benefits are summarized in the following 5 statements. Straw provides very good insulation, resulting in minimal heating requirements. The thicker the bale, the better the insulation. Additionally, straw has excellent sound insulation due to its relatively high mass. The orientation of the stems influence straw's characteristics. 2. Straw is a healthy alternative to modern materials. It is natural and harmless, and in combination with the use of non-toxic finishes such as clay and natural paint, it can provide for safe building and living conditions. 3. The 2 most common symptoms of dry air in offices are sensory irritation in the eyes and the upper airways. Straw bale walls with lime or clay plaster and paints are breathable, allowing the passage of vapor through them, which has a positive effect on indoor air quality, allowing air exchanges from the outside without creating indoor dryness or losing heat. 4. Straw can often be sourced locally and thus the transportation of building materials is reduced. The concept of straw bale construction is easily understood and therefore very accessible for self-builders. The various building techniques carried out by these self-builders have been an inspiration for the construction industry. 5. Other insulation materials such as fiberglass, require a substantial amount of production energy. Straw bales use very little energy to manufacture. Sunlight is the main energy source, and in contrast to common building materials, straw absorbs CO2 during its growth. The only energy needed is in the baling process, transportation to the worksite, and treatment to improve its fire resistance. There are two main ways to build with bales. In load-bearing structures, the straw bales are structural and support the weight of the roof. This is the original way of building with straw and is also called the Nebraska method, referring to the Nebraskan settlers in the United States. The infill method, also known as the timberframe method, is the other traditional way of building with straw. Here the straw is used as insulation in a structure of steel, wood or other structural materials. Hybrid methods combine both techniques and are used especially where lots of glazing is required on a wall. Nowadays, prefabricated timber and straw panels are being used more often. These panels are already fabricated before arriving at the building site, making the production more efficient and independent of weather conditions. The panels are usually brought to the building site with a crane and can be assembled very rapidly. Whatever the size and complexity of the building, there are a few basic design principles that can be followed. These design principles are the same for straw bale buildings as well as other natural buildings. These design principles are a good pair of boots, a good hat, and a raincoat. In other words, the building needs an outer wall to protect the straw bale wall against splashing rainwater and contact with wet earth, the boots. The roof of the building needs a large overhang to prevent rainwater running into the walls from above, the hat. The finishing of the bales needs to be weatherproof and flexible to keep the straw in good condition. The ideal finishes for straw are traditional lime plasters or natural clay, since these are also breathable materials, the raincoat. So now you've seen that there's no need to be afraid of the big bad wolf or heavy weather conditions when building with straw. Straw bale buildings offer a healthy building solution for us humans and the planet. The people living in them lived happily ever after.